Let's talk about one of nutrition's biggest misconceptions that's persisted for decades. For years, we've been told that eating eggs would shoot our cholesterol through the roof and put us at serious risk for heart disease. But here's the thing, recent research involving hundreds of thousands of participants is completely overturning this belief, and it's time we understood why. The fundamental mistake in our thinking was assuming that dietary cholesterol, the kind you eat in foods, directly translates to blood cholesterol, the kind that flows through your arteries. Sounds logical, right? Eat cholesterol, get cholesterol. Except that's not how your body actually works. Your liver is incredibly smart about this. When you consume more cholesterol from food, your liver simply produces less. It's a self-regulating system called homeostasis, and it's been doing this job long before we started worrying about egg yolks. The evidence is pretty compelling now. Studies show that for most healthy individuals, eating up to one egg daily has minimal connection to heart disease risk. We're not talking about small studies here. These are meta-analyses examining massive populations over extended periods. What they found is that the cholesterol in your breakfast egg isn't the villain we thought it was. So what went wrong with our understanding? Well, early observational studies noticed that people who ate lots of eggs also had higher rates of heart disease. But here's where confounding variables come into play. These same people were often eating eggs alongside bacon, sausage, butter, and other foods loaded with saturated fat. They weren't just having a boiled egg with whole grain toast and fruit. They were having the full American breakfast, which is a completely different nutritional scenario. Modern nutritional science has evolved significantly, and current dietary guidelines from major health organizations no longer restrict dietary cholesterol the way they used to. The shift happened because researchers figured out that saturated fat, not cholesterol itself, is the primary dietary factor that affects your LDL levels. That's the bad cholesterol we actually need to worry about. Here's the practical takeaway. If you're a healthy individual without cardiovascular risk factors, one egg daily poses no significant cardiovascular risk, provided you're consuming it as part of a diet that's low in saturated fat from other sources. That last part is crucial. You can't just add an egg to an already problematic diet and expect everything to be fine. The mechanism is actually fascinating. A whole egg contains about 186 milligrams of cholesterol, which used to terrify people. But it only has 1.6 grams of saturated fat. Compare that to the butter you might cook it in, which adds another 2 to 3 grams of saturated fat per tablespoon, or the sausage on the side with 5 to 8 grams. Suddenly, the egg itself looks pretty innocent. What this means for you is simple. Understand the difference between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol. Recognize that saturated fat is what you really need to watch, and learn how to incorporate eggs into a genuinely heart-healthy diet. The egg itself isn't your enemy, it's everything you've been eating it with.